working in a hotel, especially a luxury hotel, comes with the glitz and glam. Sure, it's exciting and there's a lot of cool things you see, but there's a lot of work that goes into it as well. A lot of hours, 6-day weeks, being on call for a pipe burst, or the VIP is upset. What should we do? So there's a different dynamic for sure. Saving time on a commute is amazing. Saving money on dry cleaning my suits every day is also a welcome change. But there's still so much to do, and there are a ton of frustrations with trying to do things in the same way you would in person and trying to find technology or new approaches to still get the same result with a remote capacity that you're working in. So the challenge is a lot of fun. It's stimulating. It's frustrating. All in the same. So it's different, but still a lot to do. Just I guess more so in front of a computer rather than in person running around. With luxury hospitality, of which Rove is very much in that same space, you still obviously want the service to be felt, but it's not going to necessarily be seen, at least as much as it would if you were staying at a luxury hotel and you've got the bellman, the front desk, and the concierge, and housekeepers coming and going. And so when you're managing single-family homes remotely, but still trying to deliver a luxurious experience, what are those touch points that can still evoke that sense to the guests on the receiving side, and make sure that they feel well taken care of? They feel that everything they need has been anticipated by us and our team. And of course, there's still a component that there's some things you just have to do in person. We obviously can't clean homes remotely. We can't fix or replace light bulbs or AC filters and things like that remotely. But it all, I think, boils down to visibility and trying to make sure that, one, you're communicating well with your team that is on the ground, that you're communicating well with the guests, you're understanding very clearly what they need, what they're asking for, and making sure that you deliver on the first attempt with whatever it is that they're looking for. And then with visibility, it's trying to leverage all the tech that you have, and maybe even thinking of some new creative ways to make sure that, okay, if we had cleaners there prepping the home, how can we look at that remotely and make sure that they did an exceptional job, that we have the best cleaner doing this job, that if they did miss some things, how can we make sure they're getting feedback so that they can do even better next time? And so there's a lot of different avenues to try and narrow the gap there with visibility. Being in a remote world, it's a worthwhile endeavor to try and improve on, because you'll see such material results if you can just make small daily or weekly progress in that world. Being a luxury hospitality company that started from zero and went from 1 to 10 to 20 to 50 to where we've got about 80 homes in about 5 different markets that we're managing, you quickly start to realize, as you're scaling exponentially very early, even just from 1 to 2 and 2 to 5 and 5 to 10, oh wow, I can imagine doing this at 100 properties or 200 properties, and this process specifically would be really hard and it would break very quickly. And so you have those realizations, some from either prior experiences of handling things at volume, at mass, or just firsthand realizing very early on at low volume, wow, that was time intensive. That is not going to scale. Let's think about this and see what we can do to either automate this or find a better solution that can handle this at scale. And so InsoConnect was a great discovery for us because it unlocked a lot of time savings and gave us time back, but still allowed us the visibility on certain things when we needed it, whether it be security deposits and making sure that we've got a credit card hold for every stay and that's handled prior to check-in instructions and access to a property being given to a guest. ID verifications, automated messages, checking in with the guests the day after they arrive just to say, hey, we hope you've settled in. We hope you're enjoying your stay. Please let us know if there's anything we can do to make it more comfortable. Previously, without a solution like InsoConnect, you had to have a daily checklist and remember to do all of those things manually. And it takes time, but it's also just subject to human error and oversight. And so whenever we can automate things, but still allow for them, especially in a communication setting, allow for them to feel like they're not automated and they are personalized, it's just a win-win. Yeah, we definitely did our research. I can promise you that. We looked at no less than half a dozen, but probably closer to 10 different options similar to Enso Connect or adjacent to Enso Connect to see if we could encapsulate a few different processes and systems that we had and streamline things a bit. And so the first touch point with the sales team was an impressive one, just the demo itself. But then you obviously, you can have a great demo and you want to still uncover it a bit and make sure that this wasn't just some incredible demo environment, that is really a well-refined presentation. Let's make sure that this is actual reality. And so once we did, and we started to ask more detailed questions that even were unique to our use case, which can be fairly unique compared to, I think, a lot of different property managers across the country managing Airbnbs. Being in the luxury space, we want to have and do have security deposits that are $5,000 and $10,000 for stays, because we're dealing with 30 plus night stays in New York City specifically, where we might have a guest paying $50,000 for the month. And so we're dealing with multi-million-dollar homes, really high risk assets, if you will. And so it was unique, and we wanted to make sure that whatever solution we went with, there was a customization that would work for us, or a solution out of the box that would work for us. And so we were able to go through each of those points, check the box to kind of add. It was also just a really intuitive system to use. There's certainly some detail and onboarding that needs to go into it, but once you take the time and effort to get things set as you want them, as you need them, man, it's so worth it. And you see the results and the time given back to you and your team pretty immediately. So it was a combination, I think, of the customization, the intuitive interface, and frankly, just the engagement. It was good to be able to reach out, ask really detailed questions that I'm sure were annoying, but still to get the answers you were hoping for pretty quickly. You know, we live in such a digital world now that even a decade ago, I think somebody coming across a company like ours that manages luxury properties, luxury homes in a city like New York, to prove to them that we are real, to have them wire us $50,000 for a stay, it's something that I think a decade ago, a majority of people looking for this type of solution or product would have never considered doing. It's sketchy, frankly, to a lot of people. There's a ton of skepticism. And I think moving us into a remote world where so many people do work remotely, where you have new startups, new companies, new brands, especially in the property management space, short, medium, long-term proliferation of Airbnb as a concept over the past decade and a half, it's ubiquitous. And I think that has really benefited the entire industry. A rising tide has lifted all the ships, so to speak, because we found some really great product market fit in the high-end luxury space that we're operating in, that I think had Rove been started 5-10 years ago, it wouldn't have been the same, and it probably wouldn't have succeeded. So that's really, I think, one of the most interesting thoughts that I think of generally from how it used to be and how it is now. It's unique, I think, to some degree when you're working in a really high-end part of the market, and especially when you're dealing with direct contact with a guest. If you're going through a channel like Airbnb, Vrbo, or another platform, you at least have the umbrella of that platform that is a well-known brand to a majority of people and offers protections, whether it be from fraudulent listings and scams and things like that. They'll reimburse you, they'll help you find another alternative accommodation if something doesn't work out. They have your back. But when you're dealing with the one-to-one relationship, when you're dealing with someone found us on the internet and they reached out and they want to know more about a property, and they end up asking a lot of questions and moving forward, or getting very close to moving forward, but they're still hesitating for some reason. The digital presence online, providing them with as much as we can to show credibility, whether it be, here are our listings on Airbnb, we're happy to host you through Airbnb if it makes you feel more comfortable. Here's my contact, feel free to call me. Here's my LinkedIn page. Here's our company website that I'm sure you've seen. Here's our company Instagram and LinkedIn page as well. As much as we can show credibility and prove to them that we have a very meaningful and growing digital footprint, portfolio of properties, reviews on different channels, Google, Airbnb, whatever it is, I think all of those collected data points can help allay some of those concerns that we do see. But at the end of the day, I think the easiest way to do it is to just jump on the phone with them and to have a conversation and offer to answer any questions they have and verify information. Oftentimes just hearing that voice on the other side of a phone and knowing that there's a confidence and a familiarity that comes with that conversation on what they're asking about, it can really squash the doubt from maybe a text message or email exchange or web chat message from a website or something like that. We're a venture-backed company, so we certainly have the advantage of having a bit of a war chest, a relatively small one, I guess, in the property management space. When you look at some of the bigger fish like a Sonder or Vonstay or something like that, that has certainly enabled us both from a network side as well as just a flexibility side to grow the portfolio and establish credibility a little faster than if we were bootstrapping. But I think looking forward, New York City has been an incredible market for us. We're still really excited and bullish about it. There's just endless opportunity in that market with whatever you're looking at, any business, just due to the mass of the city and the volume of travel and traffic that it has. So we're still excited to grow there and continue to hopefully plant ourselves as the preeminent luxury furnished rental property manager in the market. But outside of New York, I think we're excited to identify other markets like New York that maybe have highly regulated rental structures within a city that themselves can be really intimidating to individual property owners to navigate, and provide our expertise in that setting to allow us to hopefully provide more value to property owners. But then also thinking just purely from a volume standpoint and a process standpoint, it's constantly on our mind, and I know it's on my mind on a daily basis. But if we double tomorrow, what breaks? We ask ourselves that question out loud sometimes, and I know we think about it a lot. And so it's really just trying to anticipate what tomorrow and next year is going to look like from a systems and staffing and process standpoint to make sure that the structure we have now will continue to grow and scale with us. And if it's not, let's identify those specific opportunities to rejig or to change things altogether to something that will benefit us further down the road and be maybe a little less painful to transition to now than when we do double in size. Yeah, I love this question. I ask my team this sometimes. We were talking about it the other day, actually. For me personally, I think it's a great guest experience doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be defined by material. It doesn't have to be marble floors and high thread count linens and, a butler waiting at my door to help me. It really just boils down to being recognized, feeling heard, and making an emotional connection whenever you can. And I think in a remote focused business such as ours, that can be really hard to deliver on. And how do you smile through the phone and make the guest on the other side of the phone feel what they usually see when they walk into a hotel and they're greeted by someone at the front desk or someone opens their door at the valet or something like that? It can be really hard, and you can run around, do a lot of laps around this in your mind on the psychology of it and how do we connect the dots, and what do I feel in those instances, and what do I feel in a remote instance. And so we spend a lot of time really working with our team, our remote guest concierge team, on making sure that we're doing everything we can to calmly, confidently communicate with our guests to make them feel like they've come to the right place. We've been expecting them in one way or another. We have the answers they need, the help they need, or we're just here to listen and assist with whatever it is they may want to ask questions about. And so feeling heard, feeling recognized, having a warm, friendly voice on the other side of things, and whenever you can, anticipating what they need and taking care of that in advance, or if they do have issues, fixing them quickly. I think people are a lot more understanding and receptive when they have a problem and it's fixed quickly. If it's fixed on day 2 of their 6-night stay, a lot more understanding than if it's fixed on day 4 or day 5 of their 6-night stay and it's pretty much ruined their stay at that point. It's a lot easier to recover and manage guest emotions and the interaction at that point if you can fix stuff quickly. So stuff will go wrong inevitably. It's just a matter of a how you respond and handle it.